What if we told you your dream home will cost 40% less than last year? Sky-high prices and low inventory in 2024 kept millions of buyers in limbo, but the tides are turning. We're on the verge of a seismic market crash, unlike anything we've seen before, and it's got analysts reeling. You might want to grab a pen and paper for this one. Before we talk about the warning signs in today's market, let's circle back to the actual bone of contention. What is a real estate bubble? And are there any external forces driving property prices to unprecedented heights? Well, while the answer for the latter question is yes, the beauty lies in the reason behind the bubble in the first place. You see, real estate bubbles happen whenever property prices rapidly surge to levels higher than what they should be. And no, it's not exactly a strange concept. Housing prices work like any other product in a free market. They're influenced by supply and demand. What this means is that any increase in demand or reduction in supply can cause tremor changes in valuation. But it's much more than just that. An unsustainable surge in price can also be fueled by factors such as low interest rates, easy access to credit, and speculative investments. Well, if you regularly studied the 2024 market, you'll agree with us that investors kept buying properties in hopes that the hikes will keep surging. How about the inventory crisis? Well, fewer homes on the market mean bidding wars and soaring prices. Everything lined up perfectly for prices to stay high, even in 2025. Redfin predicted a 4% rise in the median asking price for homes in 2025, and the average American wasn't confident either. 40% of renters believed they would never own a home, and younger buyers felt that they were being priced out of the market. Would you blame them, though? Specific regions in America saw dramatic price increases due to migration trends. And if you're still skeptical, look no further than Palm Beach, Florida. Housing in the area experienced a surge in demand as wealthy individuals from New York relocated. Would you believe this switch pushed the median home price to $4.15 million in April 2022? Sure, the prices have slightly decreased since then, but they are still above pre-pandemic levels. These and many more were the reasons why most experts tipped their hats on 2025 being worse than last year. The writing was on the wall. There was a strong demand, very limited supply, and the economy was still recovering. Many analysts even expected real estate to consistently outpace inflation in the coming years. But when has finance and investing ever been easy? Markets are almost always volatile, and they can change in a jiffy. Contrary to widespread expectations, recent data suggests that home values might actually fall, and not just by a little. We could see prices drop by as much as 40% in 2025. So, what changed? Well, it's no longer news that the home demand across the US is dropping. The median sales price in the country dropped from $420,500 in the first quarter of 2024 to $414,500 in Q4. One major factor driving this shift is mortgage rates. The cost of financing a home has gone up by an eye-watering 80% since 2021, and it's showing no signs of slowing down. This and many more reasons have made it a lot harder for many buyers to afford homes. On top of that, inflation is only adding fuel to the fire. Daily costs are going up and budgets are being stretched to the limit. For many, home ownership now feels like an unattainable dream. After years of skyrocketing prices, homes are lingering on the market longer, attracting fewer offers and even seeing price cuts. So is this just a temporary slowdown, or are we witnessing a major shift in the housing market? All signs point to the latter. Unsold homes are stacking up all over the country. The more buyers pull back, the less demand there is for homes. This is pushing home prices down by the thousands in major cities. Would you believe Realtor.com exposed sellers are slashing their prices every week? It shows just how deep this downturn could become. But here's where things get interesting. Usually when the housing market declines, the hardest hit areas are those that saw extreme price spikes and bidding wars. But this time, it's different. Pandemic boomtowns, once seen as affordable alternatives to big cities, are now feeling the impact first. Large luxurious homes with pools were once highly sought after, but demand is now fading. These properties are staying on the market longer, forcing sellers to lower prices to attract cautious buyers. In Florida, the decline is happening even faster, with nearly 24% of homes selling below the asking price. And if you think that's crazy, well, cities like Lakeland, Tampa, and Crestview have seen price drops as steep as 40%. California, most especially, is about to face the toughest market hit. Home prices in the state could drop by anywhere from 25 to 50%. And for condo owners, the situation is even more drastic. Many are rushing to sell their units to escape rising repair expenses and soaring maintenance fees. As the market downturn accelerates, Florida's once thriving real estate sector could signal broader trends across the country. And make no mistake, this downturn is already sending shockwaves across the nation, and it could be the worst housing crisis in decades. But for buyers, well, it's a silver lining. Many who were previously priced out might finally have a shot at owning a home, whether in their dream city or at least in a more affordable location. Well, apart from a reduced demand, buyers are benefiting from the increase in available inventory and a far less frenzied decision-making process. During the pandemic, buyers often faced intense competition, bidding wars, and even purchasing homes without seeing them in person. Now homes are staying on the market much longer. A recent Redfin report cited by CNBC found that more than half of all homes for sale have been listed for at least 60 days. Sellers who set a fair price and maintain their homes in good condition are seeing quick sales, often within a few days. However, overpriced homes can remain unsold for months. So what does this mean? Well, with more homes available, sellers, whether builders or homeowners, must compete for buyers rather than the other way around. Paired with the lower mortgage rates, this gives home buyers in 2025 a strong advantage. Now, since purchasing a home is one of the biggest financial decisions most people make, it's crucial to consider all key factors beforehand. However, if you're ready to buy, well, it looks like there's no need to rush. If you need more convincing the market is shifting in favor of buyers, wait until you find out how climate risks are baking into real estate. Redfin predicts that home prices in high-risk areas such as coastal Florida, California, and parts of Texas will likely fall or stagnate at the very least. This is due to the threat of extreme weather and natural disasters like hurricanes and wildfires. If lower prices make these markets appealing, buyers will consider the potential challenges that come with them. Allow us to use an illustration. Let's imagine a man called Mark, a homeowner in the once booming market of Miami. After hurricanes devastated his neighborhood, insurance premiums skyrocketed and repair costs became overwhelming. But the high-price home he put up for sale is empty, and there's still the risk of more disaster. Would it be far-fetched for him to decide to make his price more competitive? And the same can be said for prospective buyers like Emily, a young professional looking to relocate. She watches the news and sees how bad of an investment it is to splash a lot of cash on a home in areas vulnerable to frequent flooding and hurricanes. Finally seeing the bigger picture, the allure of Florida's warm climate and coastal views has faded as more buyers factor in the future threat of natural disasters and rising insurance costs. With fewer buyers in the market and insurance rates often unaffordable, sellers like Mark will always be forced to lower their prices to compete. Now, in certain markets, home insurance is not only more difficult to obtain, but also comes with steep costs. Natural disasters further drive up expenses, leading to higher home maintenance and repair costs, at least according to industry experts. The bigger concern, though, is that no region is entirely safe as weather patterns continue to shift. For example, recent atmospheric rivers in California have triggered days of intense flooding, something many homes in the area were never designed to withstand. Now, Florida often gets the most attention for hurricane risks, but it is also one of the most prepared states for such disasters. In contrast, places like Asheville, North Carolina, a mountainous city hit hard by Hurricane Helene earlier this year, are far more vulnerable. And so, want to know the crazy part? We will likely see widespread increases in insurance costs because many homes were not built to withstand the changing climate they'll face in the coming years. And last but certainly not the least, major home builders will likely keep pushing to meet the high demand for new single-family homes in 2025. Buyers should also expect attractive incentives as a result, such as help with closing costs and extra allowances for design upgrades. While the housing shortage remains a challenge, more existing homeowners are adjusting to post-pandemic market shifts by listing their properties at more competitive prices. So, what should home buyers do? Well, first things first, sit back, study the environment, and weigh all the options. 2025 is shaping up to be a promising year for home buyers, but the US market, if anything, is so often unpredictable. Instead of relentless price hikes as predicted in Q4 last year, the the market is showing clear signs of a downturn, with demand cooling, inventory rising, and economic uncertainty creeping in. For some sellers, that means slashing their asking prices just to attract offers. But for buyers, it could finally be the opportunity they've been waiting for, but only if they time it right. And then there are those caught in the middle, watching their home equity shrink as the market shifts beneath their feet. But hey, if there's one thing we know for sure, it's that the question isn't whether prices will drop, it's how far they'll fall. Especially considering rising inflation could get so extreme that it hurts the housing market and prices fall, particularly if the economy goes into a recession. So what do you think? Could real estate prices really drop up to 40% in 2025, or are we in a temporary blip? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to check out our other videos.